After a 2-week hiatus, we are back here. We enjoyed the holiday, and the This Is Awesome Wrestling show is back entertaining you because Raw isn't entertaining, so we decided to get it back up and running. I'm Glenn Moore, joined here by Steve Guy, and we're talking before the show, Steve, about Raw, and we're like, oh,
it was bad.
Do we really want to talk about it, or do you want to talk about all the latest news that we've missed the past few weeks with?
I think the news is more worthwhile.
Yeah.
We have lots to catch up on.
Sting is back.
We did not have a post-Survivor Series or a pre-Survivor Series show.
Sting is back, and we didn't really miss much because
he was back, and now he's gone again.
Now he's gone. He was on Survivor Series, didn't say a word, did a death drop to Triple H.
Yeah.
It really affected the match. Team Cena won. Sting walks out, and then you figure on Raw they would lead the show with that, and Sting is nowhere to be seen.
No Stinger.
First,
he's in the rafters watching.
You can't do that. I would have loved that, but Owen Hart, that's not going to happen. My thing is, I love that Sting is back. He looks old.
He does. He didn't even dye
He didn't even dye his hair. He didn't let his. I mean, obviously this is by a spur of the moment kind of thing, so the hair not gonna be long.
Yeah.
But at least dye the hair black.
Yeah.
And second thing, now in the WWE 2K15, the promotion, they used his music, the Crow music,
right?
But they didn't use his old music.
They changed his music.
They changed it, which it was okay.
It was fine.
But I don't think it would have had I think it would have had a bigger pop if you would have had.
People were a little confused.
Yeah,
they heard the Crow.
Yeah,
and they were excited with the Crow, but then they were like, "This is this him? I don't know." And then he finally showed up, and then he got the pop.
So I heard the Crow. I thought Raven was coming out.
That's what I thought.
Like, Raven's back.
The greatest kept secret ever.
The flock is back. Yeah, Billy Kidman.
Now that was a last minute decision.
Yeah.
Which could be why he didn't dye it. But if you know you're gonna be thrown out there at any given moment, maybe dye the hair. Maybe get ready for it.
I mean, it would take an hour to dye hair. I never dye my hair before, but at least
I don't know.
I mean, they knew that he was going to be coming because they had that whole Tron, the Titantron, the video package ready.
Right.
So I'm sure they had it. It was coming.
It was
back.
either going to be him or Orton.
Well, I'm glad they used Sting, especially for free. For a free pay-per-view, they had Sting come out.
That's true.
And
but now everybody could think, well, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And now they all pay $9.99.
And then after last night's McMahon Austin podcast, people, I'm sure they got some subscribers just for that. So
yeah,
I'm sure the number is a little bit higher, but I'm sure Vince still isn't happy about what's going on. But still, Sting comes back, new music, no long hair, didn't even dye his hair. He looks old. Doesn't look like he can go full time, obviously.
Right.
But still,
yeah,
had a big impact.
The stare down between he and Triple H was dramatic.
Right.
But to your point, with how old he looks,
yeah,
I was just sitting there thinking, this is a joke, right? Because Triple H could just beat his ass at any given moment.
Did you see how long from the point where Sting gave him the kick to the midsection? And Triple H sold it for a minute and a half before you dropped. That was the kick of death.
Before he could drop it, yeah. Really? We are to believe that Triple H couldn't power out of that at this point?
It's like Triple H was on his last energy bar in the video game. And that kick sealed it.
He was red. He was in the red.
The red was flashing.
Yeah.
And so he drops him and then he walks out. But yeah. But the thing is, though, why would Triple H get mad at Sting for coming out? Why would he... automatically try to attack him,
right?
But wouldn't you hey, he's
trying
here,
to show him up,
shake his hand, or try to hug him? I don't get it.
Yeah, or just go towards him without attacking him, and Sting just hits him.
Kick to the midsection.
What do you want? What's your problem?
Yeah, I agree. Stinger splash would have been nice.
Yeah. So does this mean it's gonna be Sting Triple H at WrestleMania?
Oh, see, that's what. I wouldn't want to the way Sting looks. He's
definitely got to get in shape prior to that.
Yeah, he definitely does. But I'm saying
Hogan looks more ready to go.
would that sell though? Triple H versus Sting? Is that your ideal matchup? I think Sting Taker would be more of a draw than Sting Triple H.
It would, but there are a lot of people saying that Taker may not be ready to go.
You think?
Yeah.
I would say that Sting Triple H would be decent, but if you have Sting Undertaker, I think it would be more of a draw. Then you have Triple H Rock. If you can do that, because with The Rock, I don't think you can work with anybody else with The Rock except for Brock Lesnar. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I mean, I think Sting Triple H is good in the whole anti-establishment and we're going to put the corporation down
yeah,
kind of aspect. But, yeah, you're right. Do you want to see that? I don't know. Maybe. I did want to see it 15 years ago.
I love Sting back when NWO Sting and the whole anti-NWO storyline before he joined the MWO. But I wasn't really a big Sting fan when he had the surfer dude kind of.
Oh, I was. Man, growing up, I was a big Sting fan.
I was never on the bandwagon.
Oh, totally.
Maybe because I didn't watch WCW until Goldberg came, NWO
Yeah.
came, so I didn't really know. But I wasn't really. Sting was cool, but it wasn't like wow Hogan or wow Macho Man. It was never on that caliber.
Yeah, I was a Sting fan.
But it's cool to see him come back.
Sting and Ric Flair had some great battles.
Yeah, watching those old
Those were a lot of fun.
But it's nice to see him come back. But Vince said in his podcast last night that don't be surprised to see Sting at WrestleMania 31
against Ric Flair.
Oh, Sting versus Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. And a steel cage match, baby.
Dusty Rhodes, baby.
That would be terrific.
It would be terrible.
Main event. and WrestleMania that way.
Nobody moves.
Oh. So Sting comes back. That's the big. And then the next day on Raw, we hit on this. People have watched the pay-per-view. They're going to tune into Monday. I was ready to tune in and see what would happen. If Sting was going to come out, they're going to address it. Right. But nothing. They sing, Daniel Bryan makes a surprise appearance.
They didn't even really make mention of Sting, did they?
Triple H mentions, well, Sting has to come out.
Oh, well, right, yeah.
But, you want to hook people to watch Raw. So in the first hour, the ratings were high. And then after they realized Sting wasn't going to come out, they turned off. There was no teasing.
Where's his satellite promo?
The Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Or the Rock treatment. Satellite. Or even tease it. Have a crow fly in the arena or something. Have something. But,
Well, I think they had to work up a storyline now at this point.
It'll take them forever for that.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's going to be WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 32.
They have 3 or 4 months to work on it. I think that's where you stand, and that's why, it didn't happen so quickly. Because I really think that Sting's only going to have one match.
Yeah.
And that's it. So they really have to be cautious and have this storyline ready to go ahead of time. With Raw, a lot of that's written last minute.
Yeah.
And even as the show goes on, they can't afford to do that with Sting because it really legitimately is only going to be one match.
Yeah.
They cannot screw it up. They can't change it on the fly and do this or do that. They've got to set what they want to do. I think maybe that's why.
With that in mind, do you think him facing Undertaker, if Undertaker is ready, would it be more of a draw than Triple H if you have Sting with one match?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a huge draw.
Because you don't know who would win. Because Taker already has his loss at WrestleMania.
Right, his streak's gone already.
Yeah, so it's an even match. You don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
And would you want Sting to lose his only match in WWE?
Yes. Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't really matter, but ultimately, I'm sure Sting wants to win his own match.
Yeah.
If his only match against the Taker has a new streak.
Love for it to be a casket match. Yeah. One last casket match. And that's how the Undertaker gets sent off too. No, we don't need any more of those.
Inferno match. And a casket match. Inferno casket. Buried alive match. You got the ring surrounded by fire. You have a casket. You got to push the casket to the buried alive stage. Bury the casket. Cage a special guest referee.
That would be terrible.
That would be bad.
It's not good.
That would be bad. All right. So, CM Punk.
Yes. This was huge.
CM Punk goes on Cole Cabana's podcast. It's like the battle of the podcasts now.
It is.
Everybody's doing podcasts. Everybody's scared to do podcasts now because it's all CM Punk and Vince McMahon on Stone Cold, and they're both back and forth. But CM Punk does a long interview with Cole Cabana, basically airs out dirty laundry.
All of it.
And Triple H is pretty upset with what CM Punk had to say. Vince said last night on Stone Cold's podcast that he didn't listen, but he was told what he said. He didn't seem to be that upset. He did apologize. for setting papers on Punk's wedding day. What do you feel about Punk airing out all this dirty laundry and venting? And do you think that this is all a big work?
One thing I do feel, if it's not a big work,
Okay.
if it's not a big work and I'm AJ Lee, I raise hell
Yeah.
going home
Yeah.
after listening to that or going to work the next day. Like, what are you thinking, dude? This goes back to
Well, she did lose a title.
she did, and goes back to everybody's opinion of Punk, that he's so selfish and so self-involved. And I get it. You got to have confidence. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I get you had all these problems with the company. And I think that you can air some of it, but you also need to proceed with caution because you're now still messing with your wife's livelihood.
Yeah.
What a D move from that side.
There's rumors that AJ might be on her way out too.
Well,
so
of course she's going to be now. She's going to be forced on her way out. I don't see her being... I don't understand why she would go out on her own because she's still, to me, the biggest draw of the females, of the divas. Absolutely, hands down. She's the most popular
you don't
one.
think Summer Rae is the draw?
No, sorry, don't.
You don't think that Alicia Fox is a draw?
No,
Paige is not a draw?
It's her. AJ Lee is the Lita, Trish Stratus, whatever of this generation.
Even that
She's
is
it.
pushing it.
Well, but of these,
Yeah,
this
of
group
these.
of gals.
She looks like freaking, Medusa compared to these divas now.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I think it was interesting.
Yeah.
I liked hearing it. Didn't know that Ryback hurt him.
Yeah.
And then Ryback's feelings got hurt from that. The big guy wasn't too happy.
The big guy with some big tears.
It was overall, it was good. I mean, I read the interview. I didn't
Yeah.
get to listen to it yet, but it was interesting. But he also told a lot of stuff that I think we kind of already thought and already knew.
Yeah.
Already's done with it. I said a while ago when I saw him finally on TV for the first time in months since he had walked out on WWE, I do believe that he's happy because he legitimately looks healthy.
Okay.
I mean, he always looked so run down.
Well, dude doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
He's always. I mean, when he was traveling, he was always on the go, always doing stuff. He's hitting up concerts and stuff like that too. I mean, he's always hockey games. He's always on the go.
I do think a lot of that stress and everything that came out in promos and negativity during the promos was a lot of that, I'm sure, very real. But I think a lot of that stress has gone away now because he's like, man, I could just enjoy life now. This is great.
And he doesn't spend his money. He's saved, so I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he can get anything he wants, advertising wise or promotional, or if he wants to go to, TNA.
I really don't know that we'll ever see him wrestle again.
That's my other question. Now, Vince goes on Stone Cold's podcast last night, the week after CM Punk. And this is why I'm kind of saying this could be a one big work, because Vince capitalizes on it, says, hey, if you subscribe to the network, Stone Cold and I are going to, basically shoot the shit.
Right.
So by the network, you guys can watch. So not only does he address CM Punk and apologizes, I'm sure he picked up quite a few subscribers and for the podcast. So Vince is basically monetizing off of CM Punk's podcast, which in the end, you don't think we'll see CM Punk in a WWE ring ever
I mean,
again?
the Vince Stone Cold thing was planned out further ahead of time. They knew that was happening. They kind of teased it for the last couple of weeks.
I'm sure they were tipped off that, hey,
it could have been
Punk is Colt Cabana is gonna drop Punk's
but
interview.
I think Vince knows that if CM Punk did come back, or if he ever wanted to come back, that'd be huge.
Yeah.
And Vince is always still going to think about what's best for business.
Yeah.
And what's best for business would be to not say no to CM Punk when he came back. Stephanie was asked in an interview once too, Triple H's wife, and she even said, well, never say never about him coming back. This is a WWE, and that's what we say. Never say never. Somebody still might come walking through that door. So, I mean, it's absolutely feasible, but I just don't think... I think that they would be up for it, and they would love it for it to happen. I mean, I really think they would love for it to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think that CM Punk will do it.
I think we will see CM Punk back in the WWE ring. I think it would be because of Vince, not Triple H. I think Triple H probably wants to burn that bridge, and I think Vince knows what's best for business and
Yeah.
knows how popular CM Punk is on a not only drawing people tuning in, but also merchandise and money and whatnot, for T-shirts and stuff. So I could see him coming back, but the problem is Triple H, because Triple H is getting more and more power,
Yeah.
and Triple H is reportedly not too happy about what Punk said in the podcast. So
I actually don't think that Triple H came off that bad.
I don't think
from what
so
CM Punk
either.
said.
I think it was more of Punk spilling, airing dirty laundry that way.
Yeah, and I think that most of what he said is just that he loves Vince McMahon more and has more respect for Vince than he does Triple H. But I think that you could see that that's obvious with a lot of people, I'm sure. And the respect that Vince commands because he's been in that position for so long.
Yeah.
Triple H has gotten the position.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to have more respect for Vince. He's been doing it longer.
Yeah.
And, somebody new like Triple H, he's been around wrestling for a long time, but this is a different level of being a part of. And there are definitely going to be some kinks for him to figure out. I think this is going to be a huge wake-up call for him.
Yeah.
It's not going to just be, who do I like? Can I get the click going again?
Yeah.
I think he now realizes, hopefully, that's not how this works. But, we'll see.
I like I said, I think we will see CM Punk back in the WWE ring. I think a time will come that he's ready to come back, and it's going to be the perfect timing. My problem is with Triple H is that these last few, with CM Punk, he had that rivalry back, Night of Champions, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then you had him, Daniel Bryan, and it was originally going to be CM Punk versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30.
Right.
So why does Triple H need to feel like he needs to put himself in these main events to validate a CM Punk career or a Daniel Bryan career? Why can't Daniel Bryan and CM Punk could have some great matches together?
Oh, huge matches.
And I think they'll be more entertaining than having a Triple H. I think Triple H's ego is going to hurt the locker room more than help, and I think he's going to be he's in the authorities on TV, but I think his ego, and plugging himself in these main events, I think they're going to drive some guys away like a CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean the Daniel Bryan thing, it kind of made sense because of the way they rolled with the storyline, and here these guys have just been screwing him over the entire time.
Yeah.
I get it; it worked out, but yeah, you can't keep doing that. The Punk Triple H thing never made sense to me. That kind of came out of left field.
And it was not. You could have. I think Punk was upset that wasn't built as like a WrestleMania kind of thing.
Yeah,
And it was a a pay-per-view no one really cares about. In later the year.
right.
When people forget about it. I think I agree with Punk. It should have been a memorable moment.
Yeah, and I
at
understand him
WrestleMania.
being unhappy when it sounds like Triple H and everybody else even told him that his match with The Undertaker was pretty much the main event,
Yeah.
and he didn't get paid off of it like
Right.
he should have been. All right, that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
fine, but whatever. Oddly enough, though, even if one, I love how Punk takes credit for Daniel Bryan becoming champion, but whatever, that's fine. I understand where he's coming from with that, but then that also goes back to everybody thinking he's so self-involved.
Yeah.
If Punk were to come back, as much as he hates Triple H and doesn't want him and thinks it's stupid that he puts himself into those matches and everything, there is only one obvious choice of what to do with CM Punk when he first comes back.
Yeah.
And that's throw him at Triple H after this. You have to.
That's legit heat between those two guys.
Yeah, but you just ruined it. You can't come back, and then the obvious option is if you come back and you get thrown into a storyline or a match with Triple H, you can't be like, oh, why has he got to put himself in there, blah blah. It's like at this point, buddy, you kind of set that up.
Yeah.
You kind of wrote the story.
So you wouldn't throw CM Punk at the New Day or
I would throw him on the New Day,
no against
just like
the
he
New
led
Day.
the Nexus. He could
wouldn't-
lead New Day.
You wouldn't throw CM Punk versus Jack Swagger in the main
Probably
event.
against Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan would be a good one.
Yeah.
A guy that likes the Rubik's Cube and
Mm-hmm.
he's a high IQ guy.
Yeah.
Plays the guitar. He makes his own wine. I don't get these writers. And Raw was so bad last night that I don't even want to get into it because I think it was a subpar.
It was, and you're gonna have that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a Thanksgiving hangover. A lot of these guys just not wanting or
You
ready
just
to
had
work.
Sting on the main event 2 weeks ago,
I know.
and Raw is just terrible. And I think Vince is. I mean, Vince addressed it last night. He kind of like I know you listened to the podcast, but Vince kind of took a shot at the locker room, saying that these guys in the locker room now, they're not as joking around as like back in the Attitude Era. And these guys aren't probably as ambitious as previous guys. And Stone Cold followed up saying, well, there's no competition. Back then, if you took a chance and you pissed someone off, you can go to WCW or vice versa.
Right.
Now, like TNA is a minor leagues. You're not going to get paid the same amount.
Which is something that we've been saying for
Yeah.
quite some time on here.
Yeah. So if you're a wrestler, would you want to take a chance to piss someone off or go the extra mile? Because if it backfires, you're done.
Yeah.
Your career is over.
Yeah. And, I think some of it, too, is this generation has been, the Attitude Era made wrestling so popular. But then what it also did was you created all these indie circuit heroes and icons, but they were so popular in that because they were actually good wrestlers.
Right.
Not because of their personalities.
Yeah.
It's so weird that we sit here and we're like, oh, these guys don't have personalities, these guys don't have personalities. But the reason why we wanted to watch them so much more is because they were good at wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, as fans, you have the generation of people who are like, we're pushing them because they're great wrestlers, great wrestlers, and then they have to cut a promo and everybody's like, oh, this guy sucks, I don't want to see him anymore. Well, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think there's no competition, but these guys have concentrated so hard on wrestling and putting on a great match that they don't have great promos and they don't tell great stories and storylines leading up to the matches.
And yes, that's on the writers too, because the writers aren't getting anything to work with. But I think these guys, and Stone Cold brought it up. You see all these. He's walking around the locker room and everybody's holding a sheet of paper. It's all obviously it's scripted. But back then, guys like Austin and HBK and Triple H, The Rock, they didn't have a script. They went out there and
they just did it
and winged it. And that comes with trust from Vince and whatnot. But I think if these guys are less scripted and go out and kind of showcase what they can do on their own.
Well, someone that comes to, I read an interview once, I don't remember who it was with, but they pointed out that it was that way now because it's the PG era.
Yeah.
And they scripted it so that they don't have a situation where a guy just goes off the cuff and he curses or gets caught in the moment or something like that. But at the same time, you do handcuff them. You're right.
The one thing about Vince and Austin last night, Austin kept saying, "Well, this is pro wrestling," and at first Vince was like, "No, it's sports entertainment," and Austin would go, "Well, outside the ring it's sports entertainment, but inside the ring I want to see wrestling." And you could tell during the podcast that Stone Cold kept catching himself saying, "Well, this guy's a good wrestler, superstar." Like he kept, they're getting away from the pro wrestling thing, which I know has been happening for a while, but that's what's gonna you're gonna have. I want guys that can wrestle, not
you still want to see wrestling
if they can play the guitar. I don't care about that or dress in a bunny suit. Like
yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, you still want to see the match. That's what it centers around.
That's why I want to see the match.
At the end of the day, Stone Cold and The Rock were fantastic on a mic, but they told a great story inside the ring, going back and forth too.
Yeah, the complete package, and you don't see that now. Even John Cena, who is the complete package, so to speak, on the mic. He, everybody loves him or hates him. He's not as good, not on the same level as Rock or Cena.
No,
I mean Rock and Austin and Triple H. They're not on the same level or Taker. Like it's. And I talked with with other people. We talked with Jerry the King Lawler. Guys that got the same reaction. Like Cena gets a big reaction, yeah, but like the guys like the Godfather and like Val Venus and like guys that were mid carders, they're getting the same kind of pop as John Cena did, and like Rock and Austin are getting
right.
We haven't seen these huge pops since Austin and Rock when Hogan came out at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
So it's just the drop off from talent from the Attitude Era to now, and Cena is your bar. Like it's bad.
Yeah, and I still can't figure out, is he the bar or do they just let him?
He is the bar.
But to who?
He is the
to
guy,
them, to their standards. Because I feel like, okay, this is the bar, But it's not necessarily that he's the bar. It's that you have to be John Cena-esque, or that's about it.
Well, I'm talking about the bar as in fan reaction. He gets the biggest.
Right.
You know, either people hate him or they boo him or cheer him. He gets both. Yeah, the yes chant. I think the yes chant is popular because it's the yes chant.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because of Daniel Bryan.
Well, I still think you have
Big
people
Show
who
does
love Daniel Bryan, though.
The Big Show does the yes chant, and it gets
Yeah.
the same kind of reaction as Daniel Bryan did, as Big Show. So it's hard to gauge, and Stone Cold kind of went after him and said, these guys aren't ambitious, and these guys need to kind of step their game up because he wants to see more. You could tell Stone Cold knew Raw sucked.
Yeah.
And he was trying to be nice about it. But I don't think Vince can be too happy about these guys,
hopefully
not being ambitious.
Hopefully they don't sidetrack too much from this Rollins-Ambrose thing, because there's a rivalry that you created, and and you keep that going for years and years because of what it comes back to. This Ambrose-Wyatt thing could be good for some time.
Yeah.
At the same token, I think that a Ziggler-Rollins rivalry, just in matches themselves, could be amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
There's a lot to work with.
But it comes down.
They just can't mess it up.
Yeah, it comes down to writing, and you know, even if these guys are in Raw still sucked. It wasn't worth watching for 3 hours. Yeah, Bray's chair got destroyed, but
yeah, it's almost like we've talked about this before. I really truly think that they need to go back to Raw being Raw and SmackDown being SmackDown. And maybe you don't have the draft, but they should have a draft, and you have two different rosters, because you don't have anything that WWE can compete against right now.
Yeah.
So to get that motivation that Vince is talking about, I think that if you have the superstars competing against each other within, so you got the guys suddenly sitting there watching Raw, and then they're seeing what these guys are doing on SmackDown. Like, oh man, these guys are doing great stuff on SmackDown. Now you've got that, all these guys are somewhat competitive within themselves. So now your competitive nature takes over. It's like, dude, we gotta put on a better match than what they just did on SmackDown. We gotta put on a better show than what they did on SmackDown, and vice versa. SmackDown, Raw killed it. We gotta do better than that. I know we can do better than that. Oh, did you see that match with such and such? Oh, we need to get a better match, get a better pop than that. I think that's, at least right now, that's probably got to be your solution. Nobody's gonna listen to this and go that route or ever give me credit, but that's where it should be.
But I think the roster isn't deep enough to have two separate rosters like that.
Then you got to start to break down NXT.
Ugh.
And unfortunately, one of the ways you have to start to develop characters is you have to be okay with jobbers, right? I mean, in the 80s, the 90s, some of these biggest names that came up, you had jobbers, but everybody, it's like now everybody has to be developed. Everybody has to be this character. It's all right to just have a guy that's there.
Yeah.
You just beat up on.
One other thing that happened, I want to get your take on this. The anonymous GM is back. It's not Hornswoggle probably this year.
Yeah.
But it's back.
I don't always like that.
I don't mind it because I think you can figure out who you want to be your GM or who you want to be in charge of Raw.
Well, yeah, I think that's good. But, and it could go either way. On one hand, it's nice because now the GM or whoever is not involved in the storyline.
Yeah. And
you can just see these things. But on the other hand, a GM on these shows is usually huge within the storyline. So, where do you can't involve an anonymous person.
Yeah, you can't, you can't have the anonymous.
And I love the announce team and the way it interacts right now.
Yeah.
I don't want Michael Cole to get the power trip Michael Cole again.
I would love to see heel Cole.
Had that happen. I just love them so much right now.
Heel Cole, and even JBL doesn't. I mean, Jerry Lawler is a good guy, good commentator, and JBL is a bad, and they both hate the anonymous general manager, and Cole loves it.
Because he gets all the attention.
I want to see heel Cole come back. I would love to see heel Cole. I just like bad guys. That's all I want. So who do you think the anonymous GM will end up being?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's going to be the Great Khali.
It's going to be the Great Khali. It's going to be somebody stupid like that. That's the thing.
It's going to be the El Matador, the bull.
Maybe it's going to be Shane.
Shane.
I would love it if it was
That would be
Shane.
great.
It was Shane or Linda. Maybe it's Linda shows back
Is
up.
Shane your final prediction? Is that your final answer?
No, that's just who I want.
Okay, give me your
In my heart of hearts, I want it to be Shane McMahon.
Give me your answer for Raw GM. Who is the anonymous GM?
Could be Kurt Angle. Do
Well-
we know who he signed with yet?
Tonight. We'll find out at midnight. He's doing the podcast with Vince Russo. He's supposed to announce it at midnight tonight.
Could be Kurt Angle.
No, Kurt Angle's staying with TNA.
I don't know who it could be. They just have not said. I feel like it's somebody that's been hurt and is out.
It's the bunny.
I still think Daniel Bryan is, but no, he's not going to be the anonymous one. I still think he should be it, but
I think
Yeah,
it was
I don't
something dumb like the bunny. The bunny. will
yeah,
be
I do.
anonymous.
It's going to be something stupid, which is why I don't want to predict it because that's just going to frustrate me.
I'm gonna guess that it's Chris Jericho.
That'd be great.
I wouldn't mind if it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
So that's my guess. I know I'm probably wrong. It will be something stupid.
It will be.
Maybe it'll be Justin Roberts.
How about, you know what's a good one? Because he's hurt right now?
Huh.
Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder.
Which
That
which
would be-
fits the bill as being a stupid one, but also at the same time,
Legit.
he's
I mean,
entertaining. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And legit. Yeah.
Zack Ryder as GM would be. I think it would be entertaining.
Oh. Perhaps it's the return of Brad Maddox.
I wouldn't. Speaking of Zack Ryder, we dedicated our podcast 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and Ryder said thanks on Twitter. He responded. So he acknowledged that the podcast was
Number one broski.
Woo woo woo. Miz and Mizdow are tag team champions,
Yep.
so that's cool. We kind of saw that coming.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's going to lead to what? Mizdow probably eliminating the Miz, the Royal Rumble, setting up maybe a possible feud at WrestleMania, and my dream WrestleMania card is finally coming together.
What about Mizdow throwing himself out in the Battle Royal on SmackDown?
That was good too. But you can't use that in Royal Rumble. I think you'll have Mizdow
No, you can't. But
eliminating
it's,
the Miz by accident or something.
yeah, but it's so good.
Mizdow is great. Here's a story. I mean, obviously, these guys don't carry their belts with them. Wherever
Right.
they go. And this was Mizdow's first championship ever. Well, Damian Sandow's first championship ever
yeah.
in WWE. So actually, Miz gave Sandow the title belt to take home for Thanksgiving to his family. So one of the tag team belts. So that's a pretty cool thing.
That is cool.
Speaking of Miz Fest, you had Miz going out in Cleveland. You had Maurice in town. Maurice could make him a comeback.
Yeah.
She's involved in the storyline on Twitter. Responded to what happened last night. Ziggler was out with us too, so that was good times in Cleveland for Miz Fest. It's getting a little. I've been going for 4 years,
Yeah.
and every year we get older, and it gets a little more mild. It's a little
Yeah.
more subdued. Not as much drinking as it usually is, but this year was fun, and Miz Fest is fun every year. Now, in 12 days, TLC coming to town. You have some matches already set. We'll preview it next week, the pay-per-view.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward to the Rollins Cena match to where if
Yeah, I
Cena
still don't
loses,
understand why you don't have Brock Lesnar for a third straight pay-per-view, but that's fine.
I don't. Yeah, and what happened to the 30-day compete clause?
We all know that's nonsense.
Gorilla Monsoon is rolling around in his
He
grave
is.
right now.
He's very upset.
Right now, 30 days, and he's just throw a jobber at him. Throw who? Help me out here. Who's a guy that never on TV that can just, hey, it's a legit guy. You can just, okay. Like Jack Swagger or something.
Maybe an NXT guy.
No, because then you're just
As an intro.
No, you can't. Because then
Bo Dallas. I don't know where he is.
there you go. What happened to him?
Yeah.
Maybe he's growing his beard.
I believe I can beat anyone. And then Brock Lesnar comes out
I think Bo Dallas is going to grow his beard out.
and be a part of the Wyatt family.
He's going to be Wyatt's tag team partner, the brothers. Do you know who the father of the Wyatt family is?
Yeah. IRS.
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it is, yeah, IRS. They don't acknowledge that, though. I'm surprised.
No, you could see it in Bo Dallas
Yeah,
because he doesn't have that huge beard, but yeah.
IRS. So then he was what? What was he in WCW? IRS when he went to WCW after?
Oh yeah, I don't remember. It's closer to one of his his actual name.
No, it was something money. I'm looking up right now.
Oh, okay. Just entertain the masses.
Entertain. Here we go. IRS. WWE. Mike Rotunda.
Mike Rotunda.
But
That's
name.
it.
But his name in WCW was Mr. Wall Street.
Ah.
There it is. And he was IRS in WWE, and he was Mr. Wall Street.
One-time tag team champion with Ted DiBiase.
Yes, he was. He was tag team champion with Barry Windham too, twice.
Oh, that's right.
And DiBiase 3 times.
Yeah.
So 5-time.
Perhaps the Raw general manager is Booker T.
Sucker.
That'd be great.
That would be sucky ducky. Quack, quack. Some other rumors. Orton possibly, hopefully, going to be making his return. Yeah, Cole Cabana. He's blacklisted.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be. Yeah.
Well, he's not going to come back, but nobody from WWE can be on his podcast. And TNA on the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it?
God. When Spike TV doesn't watch you, that's pretty good.
I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, the Discovery Channel is where you learn about new things, so maybe people will learn about TNA, that it exists.
Kurt Angle tonight on Vince Russo's podcast will announce if he's going to be on TNA or WWE. I think it's going to be TNA, but what if he announces WWE?
I don't know. Then who do you set him up with? Sting?
Oh, God, please no. Kurt Angle versus...
That's got to be somebody we haven't, he hasn't been in a company with.
I want to see Angle versus Lesnar.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be a good one.
The shooting star press.
But there's no way Angle goes to WWE.
No, probably
There's
not.
No chance. And nobody's going to be listening at midnight to wait. All right. This is awesome. Moment of the week. The last 2 weeks. I think I know yours.
You do? What do you think?
It was when Sting and Triple H were staring down at each other, and everybody was chanting for our podcast. This is awesome, over and over again. That's my moment of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was good. But out of that match, I still liked the push that they gave Ziggler.
Yeah.
Down 3-1. I loved that I didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, John Cena got eliminated.
Yeah.
It was the second guy out the team to be eliminated.
If you're the Big Show, though, and you turn halfway through the match, you knock Cena out, so Cena's eliminated.
Yeah.
You know Ziggler is the only one. Why wouldn't you pick Ziggler up, punch him, and make sure he gets pinned, therefore cementing the victory?
Because he figured that Ziggler would get pinned. Because it's that simple.
But if you're going to... You would have finished the job.
Because he's so easy. Because he's a little guy on the team. I don't know.
Talk about Big Show and revolving door of just...
Yeah, just like Mark Henry.
It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Awful.
I think this is an awesome moment, though, was the Fatal 4-Way tag match with this slick move. Goldust going to superplex one of the Matadors, and then another Matador getting on the middle rope, and then Stardust coming in and going with the power bomb.
That was good.
That was great.
That was a good spot. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
But I liked how This Is Awesome was being chanted. And they were good. It was quiet in the ring. We just hear the fans chanting for the podcast.
It's always good when they do that during a stare down.
Yeah. It's good. And you get some good audio. So hopefully maybe Ryan could dub that in our intro. Ryan, if you're listening, please do it. All right. We'll be back next week. We'll preview TLC. And they're going to be in Cleveland.
Right here.
Right here.
In Cleveland.
Ohio. That should be a nice pay-per-view. Some good matches. Some gimmick matches, but it's always nice to see tables, ladders, and chairs.
Can I throw one aside in real quick?
Yeah.
Did you see who did make an appearance last night on Monday Night Raw?
Who?
Since we said right here in Cleveland, Ohio, made me think about it.
Oh, and Noelle is going to make her first Raw, official Raw appearance.
Yeah, she was an elf
Oh,
yesterday, I think, right? Yeah.
All day.
Yep. Okay, anyway.
Is she legal?
She is, yes. We looked that up.
We did.
Yeah, she's
you
good
sure?
to go. We're good to go on that.
We should have her on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should get Noelle on.
Certainly we're not going to be allowed to now after this.
Probably not. Well, Ryan, get out the legal part.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know that Stephanie McMahon's pregnant anymore. Okay, that's it.
I don't think so either.
No, it's been looking good.
So we basically ratted on all the McMahons except for Shane.
Yeah,
for
whatever.
No reason. You did.
That's fine.
Just in case a black van comes while you're walking down the street.
It's okay.
Scoops you up. All right, we'll be back next week with TLC preview.
Yeah.
Recap the Raw. Hopefully Raw's better for the one leading up to TLC. It was
Needs to be.
bad. And I'm looking forward to more podcasts with Vince McMahon. And CM Punk. There's going to be another CM Punk one, too.
It's going to be great.
The Battle of the Podcast 2014.
Led by This Is Awesome.
We should feud with somebody. We got to pick a wrestling podcast to feud with.
We can do that.
We'll pick one.
All right.
We'll evade them.
There you go.
Outsiders. All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.